Kind of see that with business owners that where we might have an idea at the beginning, but during our process, it may change or take a different form.
Absolutely. And we have to be open to that change. You know, we can be so in a rush to start things off ourselves, but we haven't had probably the right counsel, the right direction.
Faith without works is dead, but faith with works equals the grind. Welcome to the Boss Grind Podcast.
I like the way you do business.
That's right. That's right. You know what time it is. It's the Boss Grind Podcast, where we sit down and talk to business owners about the ins, the outs, the nitty gritty on what it means to be an entrepreneur. Sitting on our couch today is a woman that wears many hats. She's an entrepreneur, a community activist, a motivational speaker, and an author. Let me introduce you to Miss Vanessa Scott. Hey, Vanessa, thanks so much for coming to see us today.
Hello, hello, hello. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for joining us on today. So we're just going to, basically just have a conversation about being an entrepreneur, what it means, some of the ins and outs that have gone on, and basically what makes you an entrepreneur. So first of all, just kind of tell us about yourself.
So I'm Vanessa Scott. I live here in Nashville, Tennessee. I am a mother. I am a published author, also entrepreneur, CEO. So you introduced me well. I do wear many hats, but the mother is the most important one to me. And then after will be the entrepreneur, the CEO of Women with Open Arms. Women with Open Arms, we are a nonprofit organization where we assist our domestic violence, our substance abuse, our recently released from incarceration, and our homeless community, where they can come and shop at our boutique at zero cost to our clients. That means that they can get their daily essentials, whether it be their clothing, their toiletries, their shoes, whatever they may need to get them a fresh start. Because here at Women with Open Arms, our mission is to do what we can do on the outside to make you feel whole, make you feel confident, so God can do what he needs to do on the inside.
Man, that's awesome. That's a mouthful right there, I tell you.
Thank you.
So tell me, how did you come up with the name Women with Open Arms?
It wasn't me. I will not take credit for it. I originally started with a social group, Divas of Nashville, where a couple of my girlfriends, we got together and we would go out into the community for our senior citizens, and we would provide not lunch boxes, but food boxes we would take to them. So when they were short of food, we would step in and select a couple of senior citizens. So after that kind of dwindled away, or not so much dwindled away, but when God gave me purpose on what it was that I was supposed to do, because with Divas with Nashville, I knew that I wanted to be a part of the community and serve. I just didn't know how. So when God started working on me to give me direction, he gave me Women with Open Arms in my sleep one night. So now that I had Women with Open Arms, the name, he also provided me who it was that I was to help. Being a domestic violence survivor myself, I knew that that was important to me. And I knew that I could definitely relate since I had the same experiences as a domestic violence survivor.
Wow. So as you mentioned in your story, you mentioned how you started with one organization and then it kind of morphed into another one. Do you kind of see that with business owners that where we might have an idea at the beginning, but during our process, it may change or take a different form?
Absolutely. And we have to be open to that change. You know, we can be so in a rush to start things off ourselves, but we haven't had probably the right counsel, the right direction. So mine just kind of still went hand in hand. I still wanted to serve the community, but mine was fine-tuned into who it was specifically that I was to serve.
Right. So in instance, as many new entrepreneurs may hear this or see this podcast, they shouldn't be afraid that their vision may change and may take a different form. Some people that have this thing in their mind where I'm only supposed to do this, but like you said, they're not open to, well, your vision may take a different route, but you have to be open to it.
Absolutely. It's just a detour. I don't think that the vision changes, just your route to get to where it is that you're supposed to be going changes. You know, you may have to run into this because if you don't have the different experiences, what you began with may not be truly where you're supposed to be headed to. So that just is the beginning of the journey to get you started. And then I feel like God will take you on the different roads to give you better clarification and confirmation as to where you're supposed to be headed.
Great, great. So what is unique about V. Scott?
What isn't unique about? I think what makes me unique is I'm very transparent and very not ashamed to show my vulnerability because I believe that that's my superpower. In writing my book, I wanted to do that to tell my own story, my own way. We tend to allow people to hold our past over us, and I just wasn't willing to give anybody that power over me. So I wrote my own book, told my own story, my embarrassment, my humiliation, all of that, so no one else could use that against me. So my uniqueness is, whereas some people may hide behind their past and don't want to own up to it, I don't. I know exactly what I did, and I know why I did it. I made those choices because I wasn't in my right frame of mind. I didn't have the tools that I needed to make better decisions. So those decisions and choices that I made along the way in the past made me who I am to be V. Scott, because those were experiences that I learned from as well that I needed.
Right. Now, that was a jewel you just dropped where, as far as don't let the past hinder us, there are many potential entrepreneurs that have visions and goals and talents in them, but because of the past, whatever mistakes or issues that they went through is preventing them from, moving forward or taking a leap of faith to, use what God is giving them. So what would you tell that business owner that is like on the edge, like, well, I feel like I can't do this because of what I had in my past?
Okay, so what I feel like is the events of our past are a detour to see how bad do you want this dream? How bad do you want this? Because a lot of times, even though we've had these detours, even though we've had these bad experiences, there are experiences that where we can grow through that pain. We can learn something from that. So giving up, we already know what that road leads to. We've been there long enough. What happens if we believe in ourselves, we push forward and we succeed? See, I don't think that we are afraid of failure. I think we're more afraid of success. I speak for myself anyway. What happens if it does succeed? Then what's the next plan? I think we are oftentimes so easy to accept failure, but we're so afraid of the success that could come behind it.
That's another jewel right there. That's success, boy. That, like you said, people are more afraid. They think that they're afraid of the fear of failure, but it's really, well, what happens if I do make this business? What if I really make this $1 million? What if I bless generations down the line?
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
Yeah, that's a jewel.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. So as far as your journey, you mentioned about a lot of things that you've gone through, domestic violence, overcoming that, and being a mother and running a business. What do you think has been the hardest part of being an entrepreneur?
Wearing all the hats, not being able to delegate. That's when it's your baby, you tend not to want to delegate because you're holding everything so dear to you. But I had to learn that if I wanted to get anything done, I had to delegate. I had to trust who I had around me to do what it was that I needed to do. So that has been the major for me, is delegating when necessary instead of trying to get everything done myself.
I think a lot of us entrepreneurs have gone through that. You have this dream, you hold it so tight. It's like you're holding it like this. You don't want nothing. I can't let nobody do it. I don't want nobody to know about it.
Exactly. They may mess up. They wouldn't do it like I would do it. So, it's going to fail. Exactly. At least if it does fail, I'll take responsibility for it. At least I did it, so you have to be able to trust who you're around.
Exactly. That's another key too. Know who you have around you, those encouragers, those supporters, as opposed to those people who are only around when the good times come, or those negative Nancy's that give you every reason why it won't work. That's why a lot of businesses fail too, is that they don't have the right people around them, and then they're holding their business or their vision so close that it runs them ragged. You can burn yourself out trying to do everything.
Absolutely. And so having the right people around, that's somebody that sees the vision just like you see it. You're not somebody that that's trying to ride your coattail. You know, you have a good idea. Let me ride on it. Let me get my fame off of it. You have to be around somebody that's intentionally going to motivate the iron sharpening iron type of thing. You know, they want to see you succeed just as much as you want to see them succeed. So if you have that balance, you don't have to worry about the jealousy. You don't have to worry about any of that. So you're more focused on being around people that can elevate you, being around people that where you're not the smartest person in the room. Don't be afraid to be around somebody where they're intimidating to you, because in that intimidation, use it for knowledge. What can you learn from them? How did you do this? Ask questions.
There you go. Exactly. Exactly. Well, we're going to take a quick break for a minute, a little commercial break, catch our breath. And we're going to be right back in a few moments with V. Scott, finding more about what she's doing, where she's going, and how we can help her. So we'll be right back. Hey folks, this is J. Anthony Smith, and we're taking a short break from our podcast today to bring you a message from our guest for today, Women with Open Arms, a nonprofit organization that provides needed essentials to women who have been victims of domestic abuse, recently released from incarceration, as well as our homeless population. They take clothing and monetary donations, so please feel free to donate. Go to www.thewwoa.org. You can find them on Instagram as well as Facebook. So please be a blessing to someone less fortunate. And now, back to our podcast. All right, we're back. We're back talking to V. Scott. Miss V. Scott, you know, getting more information about her business and entrepreneurship and everything. So we're gonna get right back into it. So you mentioned one of the things that, you know, in your introduction, that you're a motivational speaker. So how did you get into motivational speaking?
I think I've been one all my life and just didn't know what it was. I prefer to call myself an empowerment consultant, because with consulting, I'm empowering you to maybe see a different perspective, see another viewpoint of the way that you could be looking at things, how you are perceiving things. So I would rather encourage you to do the opposite of what you're thinking, giving you the tools, but not do the work for you. We have to be ready to do our own work, you know, not allowing somebody to continue to do the work, because oftentimes we don't want the help. We want somebody to do it for us. So I'm not willing to do the work for you, but I am willing to be your cheerleader, your empowerment consultant, to cheer you on. Hey, you know, what if you think about it this way? Then if you tend to shift your mind to something different and not the negative, you can get the positive results that you want.
That says a lot too. You just dropping dimes all over here, all these jewels. When you talk about people, they don't really want the help. They want somebody to do it for them. And
Absolutely.
That holds a lot of people back, because they have things confused. You know,
Yes.
like you said, they want somebody to, you know, they give them the vision. They just say, you know, you do it for me. And it's like, no, this is your baby. You have to really want it done the way you need it done. And I'm just here to show you the tips and tools. But at the end of the day, it's going to all fall back on you.
Absolutely. You have to do the work. You absolutely have to do the work. And how I got started, I know it's always been someone that's coming to me wanting to talk, wanting advice. I'm just transparent enough to listen and really hear what it is that's being said, and then offer myself as a sacrifice, because I believe when I show my blood, show my vulnerability, it opens people up that they're willing to share their blood and their vulnerability. So that can promote healing in itself, when you can own up to it and face what it is that you're going through. Because for me, I had to go back to that little girl that was 9 years old that was molested, where the hurt began. And we have to go back to those difficult, hurtful moments in order for us to heal and be able to move forward.
Man, and I think another thing you mentioned as well is the vulnerability. I think as an entrepreneur, you have to be vulnerable, one, to know when you need help, to ask
Absolutely.
for help and receive the help. But like you said, you still got to do the work. So you
Absolutely.
can ask, you can't receive until you ask. And then once
Absolutely.
you ask, that help may come in a way that you never even imagined or envisioned, and it could take you further. But like I said, you have to be vulnerable. So definitely one of the keys of a good entrepreneur is being vulnerable. Know when you don't know how to do something, and then
Absolutely.
ask for help.
Absolutely. Versus staying stuck in a place and can't move forward because you're not willing to ask for help. And that's part of growth as well. You know, that's part of the growth. A lot of times we stay so stuck because we don't want anybody to know we're in need. We don't want anybody to know we can't do this. Hey, I can't do it. Can you show me how to do this? And I'm not afraid to do that. I don't know. That's not my expertise. But you get me in a room to empower somebody. Now that's my area.
Right, exactly. And like you said, what the Bible says, pride cometh before the fall.
Absolutely.
You have to lower your pride. You have to be vulnerable,
Absolutely.
and you have to be willing to not only ask for help, but receive it and then still do the work. It all comes back down to you got to do the work.
Doing the work. Everything comes back to you. Your success, where you want to go, because oftentimes we still stuck on blaming somebody. I'm not ahead because of this. I'm not ahead because of that. But really ask yourself, are you really not ahead because you didn't do the work? Did you sincerely put in the work that was necessary to get to where it is that you want to be? And when you can sit and say, you know what, I could have done this better. I could have done, there's more growth. Then you could put in the work and move forward.
That's it right there. So is there anything on your journey that you would have done differently to get to this point?
No, because my journey made me. I mean, being with Women with Open Arms with my nonprofit, I specifically prayed for where I'm headed to right now. I'm not a type of person that needs to be out in the front, so I don't mind doing the work. Women with Open Arms is a nonprofit organization that's not funded, because it was lessons that I needed to learn going through all of this, to where not being funded, I've had to do a lot on my own, so I know a lot better. So this is truly my baby, but doing anything differently, I don't think that I would, because I've learned so much as I've gone on and done it the way that it's being done. I'm not in it for the notoriety. I'm not in it for the fame of it. I'm really here because healing someone else helps heal me. When my clients come over to the boutique and I see the joy that they have, that I'm being a vessel used by God to brighten somebody else's day, that's the reward that I love. Man. So it's never been about money for me.
Right. And another thing you mentioned you pulled out is that you never know, your business is a healing for you. It could be, you may think, well, I'm gonna go out and serve other people, but it's really kind of bringing it back on you, a blessing on you, bringing out some goals or some fears or whatever in your background and your health that, helps you down the line as well.
Absolutely. So it's they're blessing me, but I'm blessing them as well. So it evens itself out. You know what I'm saying? I want to be the one that somebody remembers and said, you know what, that person gave me hope. That's the whole thing. We are offering a helping hand, not a handout. We want to, even though you're down, because I know what it feels like to be down. I know exactly what that feels like. So I wouldn't dare want to beat anybody down worse than what they already are. So I want to help them up.
Awesome. Great. So we've been talking to V. Scott. She has many hats. She's doing it all well. And we're learning about the business, some of her background. But let's dig a little bit deeper. We're going to ask some fun questions. This is the fun part of what we're doing. So
okay.
You can relax. It's all good. So Yeah. So what would you do if you won the lottery?
I would build my business more. I would make sure my immediate family was taken care of, but definitely would branch out to more of my businesses, pour into those. I still have a vision for my greeting card business. I still have a vision for my t-shirt business, my clothing line. So I would definitely pour into my businesses, create those, as well as take care of my immediate family. Real estate, I want to get into that. Some transitional housing for my homeless and domestic violence victims. So yeah, I would definitely feed back into my vision.
Okay, so you would get that Bugatti out there too?
Hey, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So what is your favorite song and why?
Never would have made it. Because I never would have made it. I know where my help comes from. And I've been through a lot. And had it not been for him, I know I wouldn't have made it.
Right. Preach on, sister. Go ahead, preach.
Hey, don't make me put that hat
on. Right. Look, we could be here all day on that one just by
Absolutely. Yeah. But never would have made it.
There you go. Okay. So what do you want people to remember about you?
let my work speak for me. That's something that my mom always said. What I want people to know is that I love people, and I love hard, and I love deep. When I love you, I love you. I'm all about support, and I love my family. I'm very family oriented because that's how I was raised. So takeaway from me is she loved her family and she loved to serve, but she wanted her work to speak for
Awesome. I couldn't have said it better myself.
her.
Well, thank you so much, Vanessa. Thank you for, being on this podcast, giving some definite jewels to the people that are going to watch this and hear this as well. So how can people find you and support you?
Okay, so we are Women with Open Arms. We are on social media. We're on Instagram, Women with Open Arms. We're on Facebook, Women with Open Arms. And we have a website, www.thethewwoa.org. So you can find out more information on there as well. We have Cash App if you want to send donations. The Cash App is the word, the $, the WWOA. And if you wanted to send donations, if you like to donate, we're always accepting women's clothing, all sizes. But because we are in a limited space, we can only accept 25 items at a time. So we're accepting in-season women's clothing, men's clothing, because we do assist men as well. Shoes that are gently worn, purses, costume jewelry. So you can set up an appointment going on our website to set up an appointment to come and drop off your donated items. We are always accepting monetary gifts.
All right. Y'all heard it from the master herself. You can drop off some money, drop off some clothes, but definitely, you want to benefit, definitely want to support. So again, Vanessa, thank you again for sitting with us on this Boss Grind podcast.
And thank you all for watching and listening. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video with your friends and business owners. And we'll be back next week with another great boss to sit down on our couch and tell us about all the ins and outs of what it means to be an entrepreneur. This is the Boss Grind podcast, and we always tell you, I like the way you do business.
Faith without works is dead, but faith with works equals the grind. Welcome to the Boss Grind podcast.
I like the way you do business.